Better leave him on top, huh? Yeah, did you see this card?
No, what is that?
Richardo. I don't know if the guy couldn't spell Ricardo. I was born on May the 17th, 1935. I was born in Los Angeles. It was called Chavez Ravine. The address where I was born was 1719 Bishop's Road, and that was my grandma Kika's house and my Papa Se. I'll show you this. This is Grandma Kika's house here, and they were able to fix it up good. They had a driveway going up. This is my Grandma Kika and my Papa Se. That's what we call them. Francisca y Jose Aguilar. They were my mom's parents, and Grandma acted like the maid for the childbirth and stuff, and then they would have the nurse, the one to deliver the baby, and that was me. I think this is Bobby and me. that was out there in the fields when my mom and dad used to go. The fruit or the picking of the vegetables. Our address was 1826 Bishop's Road. We lived up the hill from my grandma there. It was a wood and stucco, and my dad had been rebuilding some of it and remodeling, and then he made a front porch, and then he made a bay window. Not too many people had those, but one of our neighbors did have one like ours. I don't know if we built it first or he built it first. And we had that living room extended so we could have more room in the house and stuff. Us 5 boys would sleep on the one bed, and then as the girls were coming, they would sleep in another bedroom, and my mom and dad sleep in their bedroom. We had one bathroom, so Saturdays was crammed up for everybody taking a bath. And I would help my mom as I was growing up to take care of the girls and stuff. And the last one to be born was Raymond, and we used to help with him too. And we used to have a lot of other cousins and my dad's sisters and my mother's sisters and brothers too. I was the second son. Bobby was the oldest of the 10 of, there was 5 brothers, 4 sisters, and then 1 brother afterwards through life.
Mm-hmm. Who's in that photo?
That's my brothers and sisters. They are the 4 girls, and then Raymond, and then the 5 boys on top. Bobby, me, Art, Jojo, Tommy. There's B, Esther, Linda, but she likes to be called Lynn, and then Stella. Okay, here's Bobby, Vicky, Turi, Jojo, Tommy. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
They all look like they were fat.
Yeah, I had to learn how to eat with my other hand, with the right hand instead of the left hand. Oh yeah, this one here was right there in the corner. This one here, where you go to La Loma up the hill, but this road here, that was our street, Bishop's Road. This is me. This is Chuy, my cousin, and Bobby, my brother. We don't know who that kid was. That he must have been from the block. I didn't recognize him. It was like soda pop place, but it wasn't a market. The market was on the other side. That was a Barbosa market. Once in a while, my mom and I, we would go down to Broadway and then take the streetcar and to the Central Market on 3rd and Broadway. And then we would be coming back home. But what I really like is going with my mom, because when I would help her with the grocery shopping, then I knew I was going to get a tomato and bacon on toast and a strawberry malt for helping her.
Was that one of your favorite things to eat?
Yes, that was my favorite thing, and that was pay enough for me, because I knew how the money was a little tight with 10 of us. This is my mom and dad, Jose Raimundo Rodriguez y Maria Luisa. Well, my parents were hardworking, and my mom also. They met, I guess, there in LA. Yeah. My mom used to work for the chili company and the canning place that they used to can the chilies and stuff. And they were hardworking and stuff. My tias all visit each other there on Bishop's Road. My dad, he had what was it, 5. The sisters, my tia Juanita, my aunt Carmen, Mercedes, my grandma, that was my dad's mom, Socorro, and they had Uncle Jesse, Uncle Jim, my dad, and Uncle Mike. Yeah, I believe I got all of them. Life wasn't easy when we were coming up, because we couldn't afford to go to college. And sometimes some people are not made to go to school. Maybe it's we're hands-on, but then if it's hands-on, then if you can do it good, then that's a credit to a person. When we started working, we was about 10, I believe. We used to sell oranges or whatever he had on his truck, and we call him Valdulero, and Mariano was his name. And we would sell a bucket of orange for 50 cents. I would get a nickel for every bucket I would sell. That was money in our pocket. And then I remember afterwards, as I got older, that I was in junior high school, that we got a job selling newspapers on 9th and Broadway. Eastern Columbia is down there, and we would get $1.25 for working on that spot there for this guy named Ed. And I think he was a bookie, because he would go in and out of this restaurant, or I don't know if it was a tavern, taking those bets from people on that street, or workers or something. Oh yeah, that's these brown shoes. Huh? Somebody had given me some shoes that I had to go and get them repaired. And that's when I was selling newspapers on 9th and Broadway. So what happened? We fooling around, and then we weighing ourselves and stuff. And then I put my shoes on top of the weigh machine, and we walked away, and I left them there. Those were wingtip shoes. In those days, somebody had given them to me, but then I took them and I had them repaired, but I lost them. Yeah, that's when I was selling newspapers then. Oh, there in LA.
Was it a special thing to have wingtip shoes?
Oh, well, yeah, that was a good style because I used to like to dress up. Yeah, because at our, see a white shirt, my tías used to say, ahí viene el currito. With his iron shirt, because I used to iron my own shirt. I wouldn't ask my mom. She had already enough work with the kids. It's a Boy Scout. My card for the Boy Scouts. I don't know if you'd be able to read this thing here. Yeah, Troop 144. That was our Boy Scouts. We was backed up by sponsored by the police department of Lincoln Heights.
That's all there in LA as well?
Yeah. That was also in LA, yeah. Yeah.
Does that go with them?
Yeah, that's Los Angeles Police Department. Scouter's assistant. This will certify Richard Rodriguez is a member of, in good standing, Police Sponsor Unit 144. My Nino, he would come around every once in a while, and then he would give me a quarter.
And what was his name? What was your Nino's name?
Oh, Johnny Mendez. Yeah, he was a baptism. Nino, and Concha Amparan was my Nina. And when confirmation time came, he was there for me, and I took the name of Juan Bautista, John the Baptist, and because my dad's name was Jose Raimundo and Rodriguez, and Bobby had the same initials, so I wanted to be like my dad too, and that's why I took Juan Bautista, so I can be Juan Ricardo Rodriguez. So my mom didn't want to run out of names, so that's why I didn't get a middle name. For the rest of my brothers and sisters, yeah. Oh, this is a confirmation certificate. That's when I started calling myself Juan Ricardo Rodriguez. Well, the church was over the hill. That was Santo Niño. And we had also another priest. We used to call him Father Richard. And I thought I was going to be a priest like him too, but then afterwards I changed my mind. With Bobby, Art, and myself and Eddie, that was my cousin, Ramirez, we would go to the auditorium and we would show movies there at Santo Niño Church. And that was with CYO, I believe it was. And we would show the movies, and then we'd give the money to the priest and stuff. And that was pretty good because we enjoyed and we learned how to run a projector too. I was an altar boy for a while, but then we had learned about that when we were going to Our Lady Queen of Angels. That was a Catholic school. And we was all in the choir, and we'd go practice down there. Every once in a while we would sing down there. But then we usually came back our way, because it was a little ways to go to Our Lady Queen of Angels. That was a elementary school, yeah. For some reason, Tommy and Bobby messed up And my mom told him, say, well, get a transfer. So Bobby went to the principal of the school, a Lady Queen of Angels, and said, my mom said to give us a transfer. So what happened is that they gave us all the transfer, the 5 boys. So we went to Palo Verde Elementary School. And then that was right over the hill next door to Santo Niño. That's where we went. We graduated out of the elementary in Palo Verde, and then I went to Nightingale. Well, this is a high school diploma. How come it's junior high school? Yeah, and that's when I got my newspaper job over there on 9th and Broadway, and then I would buy my own tokens so I can go to school, which it was a ways from our house to Nightingale.
The younger one.
Yeah, they've all kind of laughed about. Look at Richard.
Yeah, hold it up next to you. Let's see. You gotta hold it higher by your next to you. There you go. Still look the same. How old were you there?
Probably about 12, maybe 14 in that age bracket. Yeah. And then afterwards, we went to. After graduation, we went to Belmont High. The ousting of the residents there at Chavez Ravine, because they were going to build the Dodger Stadium, and they needed the land, but they didn't know how much land they needed, but they were buying all they could around there. And when we sold the house, my mom and dad sold the house. Then after I found out from one of our relatives, Esquivel, he was married to Francis Esquivel, but they were, Francis was the relative, the other one was like a brother-in-law to the rest of the family. And he told us they took our house out. So it wasn't what they put on the books, the stories of there were slums. They weren't all slums. It was those areas where we had the transits, but they had those little shacks. And there was 3 what he called the barrios, street, Palo Verde, and then you come this way, and it's La Bishop, and then go a little bit further, and that was La Loma. Palo Verde, they didn't like us too well for like what they say, this is not your barrio, you go back. But we enjoyed there because we had a lot of family, the cousins, my dad's sisters lived there. And I didn't took it because we didn't go visit. We only go once in a while visiting to them. We used to go visit to Grandma Kika's in Papase, and we would always be eating dinners because they wanted us to stay. My mom would okay, and then she would stay there. But I used to kind of joke a little bit because we always washed the dishes. Us boys, we all got together, and one washing, one dipping, the other and stuff, and one drying. There was enough brothers to do it.
What school did you go to in Pomona?
Pomona High School. For graduation, I couldn't ask for a ring for my mom because I didn't think she had too much money to spare, struggling and stuff with the rest of the kids. A year later, when we graduated in '53, well, the school burned down. I don't know how it happened. Must have been in the boiler room. One of the teachers might have been smoking down there.
And after you graduated, did you find a job right away?
Oh yes. In August, I was able to join up with my dad because he was an iron worker. I had worked one summer on permit, and that was the summer before I graduated. August '53. That was one of my first books. Too. I think it was The Apprentice. I think it was. Let's see. Yeah. This one here is for being an apprentice when I first got in, and so it lasted 2 years that I was an apprentice. And what I learned is from my dad how to do the work, because he never had put up any iron, but he went to night school to study before he got into the ironworks. Because the way it happened, he learned how to read prints to become a plumber, because he was doing the ditch digging, laying pipes and stuff. So he became a plumber going to night school. And then the cousin of my mom, named Frank Soto, he was a welder, and he was working for Pasco. So Pasco was looking for a foreman, and he wanted to find out if he could get him together with a foreman. So, well, yeah, maybe he might be able to do it for you. And so he got him. They went to a job site, Pasco, and my dad, they talked, and he said, okay, I'll work for you and see. And what happened is that he knew his stuff, my dad did. So later on the job site, here comes the business agent from the local down there, 433, and they were just expanding and negotiating some people to work so they can get stronger in the union. And so he said, you guys want to become iron workers? So, well, my dad said, let me ask the owner of the company. And the owner was William Pasco. He said, yeah, okay. So they joined up, and that was the beginning of my dad becoming an iron worker. Yeah. And then afterwards, my brother Bobby too got in after I did. I got in first, and then Bobby, they went to Vegas, and I was still working down here when I was working for Pasco. I became a foreman just like my dad too. And Bobby later on, he went to work for other companies, and then he became a foreman. Bobby had a good memory. Me, I had to make flashcards instead of opening up the blueprints. Because sometimes you're not too sure, you don't want to make a mistake. So either refer or get some little notes. That's the way I worked it. And that has been a good life. I worked hard, and they paid me good, and we didn't have to negotiate pay with them, not unless we wanted a little bit of extra, then they would give it. Depending if you did the good work for them too. So, and this life, it turned out good for me, because now, after all these years, then I'm retired now. And I put in 40.4 months of hours, and I built up a good pension too.
So how many years did you actually work?
Well, they said 40.4 of the work by the hours that I worked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is money from one of my first jobs. as an iron worker, and my mom kept this money put away in an envelope, and the money I gave mom, that's what she put it in there and saved it, and then afterward told B about it. So when she passed away, then B gave me this back. Yeah. See, that's that old money. I'm trying to look for a date in here too. This is, usually they have a year or two on it too. So trying to catch it on there. Okay, 1928.
Looks fake. $5 bill.
Yeah. See, right here is the date, 1928.
So that was your first pay from the first job?
What
job site was it?
I don't know what the job site. It must have been over. No, my
The union or
the
non-union?
union. Yeah.
For the record.
Yeah. So they don't think I'm a rat on the job site. Yeah. Yeah. So I said, oh man, how come you didn't spend it? Yeah. That was in 19. Money would be, burned after it wears out, but it does carry the date, the year, not the date, I think. There was that the shuttle where we worked over there for 11 months, and I got Richie, my son, to work up there in Vandenberg, and that one there was one of the biggest jobs that we had. That was a shuttle base that there was going to be sending the shuttle out to space. And I've worked this one crane that they were building. It was going to be movable, where they would load it up on a 747 and then take it and put it at any destination they wanted, because then the shuttle could land over there, and then to bring it back home. Then all they do is set up the crane, and there was a big crane that had it built, and put it on the 747 and bring it back. Okay, this is a blueprint as to what they were wanting to build there, and it was going to cover this blasting off site right here. And this building here, we started from the bottom and built it up, and it was going to roll back and forth and cover the shuttle before, if they needed to work on it, repair something, and get it out of the weather, and they would roll it and cover it up. And then finish, they would uncover it. This was a spill off, because they had some water up in the hill, on the mountain here, and the water was going to be coming down and cooling off that blasting off site, and then you could see where the water would kind of gather up and then flow, because the ocean was towards the west. And that would cool off the site, and then that way they could blast off and take off. They wouldn't ruin the area there, right, because the water would cool it off.
Down here, what is this?
This is just saying a few things of the site. Site shuttle assembly building, Vandenberg, Air Force, California. And this is just a blueprint. It's what they want done and what it's going to look like. Yes, and that was going to be called Slick 6 because there's another site, Slick 6, not 6, but 5, I believe it is. And they usually do some testing on rockets. And they've been shooting them out every once in a while there on that site. Well, my vest is this one here that I got some pins through the years. The top one is from Pasco Steel, and then I got the second one down was a 25-year pin that I was a member, and then I get every 5 years I will get one pin down. Then it becomes 25, 30, 35, 40. I'm up to 60 years being a member to the union, 433. This other patch on this side here is that the shuttle, and then we have this ironworkers hat. This one here is a picture of a guy that became a business agent for our local union. Yes. This other one is a retired patch that they gave me from the old timers. And this patch here is the one I got from being a safety steward up there at Vandenberg and stuff. And that was a good job to be on those big jobs, to work, watching out for the safety for the members and making sure they don't get out of line.
And I know you were married because I'm here, so how did you meet your wife?
Oh, well, on graduation, and then when they had a breakfast the next morning, so we can get all our papers and stuff, then Irene was like the captain of the table. There was like 6 to a table, and she was at the head of the table, and I got to know her and stuff. We talked a little bit, but then afterwards we dispersed. We went our way and stuff. I was going down to Larry Esparza's house on Thomas Street and 12th Street, and that was in the Sharkey area, but on 12th Street. But Irene, my wife now, well, she lived on 9th and Thomas, so she didn't live too close to the Sharkeys. But I stopped there, and then I asked her, talking to her and stuff. Then I asked her if she wanted to go to the drive-in, and then that's how we met. And she said yes too. And that's been good for me. We have 4 kids. We have 2 girls, a boy, and another girl. We have 4, and they're all good, beautiful, smart, and they know what they're doing in life. And so is Richie too. This is our picture when we got married, and this is Sacred Heart Church in Pomona, on Grand and Hamilton, I believe the street is. And this is the altar. And the day that we got married was Easter Sunday, April 10th, 1955. We were lucky. We got the hall, and we had the altar, the church, all decorated, so we didn't have to buy flowers at the Sacred Heart Church. Father Beda was the one that married us there. Oh, this was when your grandma, she knew that I liked the motorcycles. Well, what she done, and myself too, we were looking for it, and then we seen this police officer. He was selling this bike. So then we asked him if he would sell it to me, and then said, yeah, if you have the money. And then Irene said she bought it for me. So then I went along with her and stuff in conversation, because she was working too. We were both working, so we needed that extra car or transportation mode. Yeah, she would take the car, and then I would take the bike to work, because they had saddlebags too. Yeah, so the police officer, he had to get rid of it because his wife got pregnant. What was it? A year and a half later, I had to get rid of the bike. She became pregnant. Maybe the bike has something to do with it, huh? Vibration or what?
How old are you guys here? How old are you?
Oh, it was 21. 21, yeah, because I was the first year in the marriage, yeah. I was 20 when I got married. That was April 10th. That was Easter Sunday in 1955, yeah. Well, the vacations that I like is the fishing and stuff. And right now, I've been going fishing with my daughter on saltwater, but we like that going fishing up to the high Sierras over there at what they call June Lake area. There's 4 lakes up there: Grant, Silver, June, and this other one right now I can't recall the name. So there were four lakes up there, and it's beautiful up there when snow flies or the melting down, the waterfalls. Because we have competition from the Gomez family on the fishing. Here we are at the campsite. There's Rudy, there's Mitch, and they're all cleaning fish over here. We just barely came back from Silver. Hey Rudy, pull up that fish.
No, I better not.
I'm gonna zero in on you.
You're gonna zero in. It's probably a Rodriguez keeper, so I better not zero in on it.
That's the ones you usually keep, eh?
Well, I measured them against yours, so they were the same size, so I kept it.
Well, the future, I don't know. I don't think about traveling too far from here and stuff. But I enjoy seeing my kids doing good and stuff, and I'm glad they're able to. I'm getting kind of dry now. I haven't had my first beer yet.
What's your drink of choice, Grandpa?
What's that?
So what's your drink of choice?
A drink of choice? Bud Light. Make it easy. Don't make it too heavy.